this next comic realms from my hometown, Russia. Please welcome the funny Andrew Reeves.
This is probably the first time I haven't had to adjust this thing in a while. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank Rooster for having me here because I really love doing this. I love doing stand-up comedy. You know, I have a lot of fun with it. This is something that if I thought I could do it, if I thought I could make enough money, I would do for a living. Until then, it's going to remain a hobby. Kind of like sex. If I thought I could make enough money at it, I'd do it professionally. Till then, it's just for fun. What would be really cool is if I could somehow combine the two careers and become like a stand-up pornographer. Or maybe a lie-down comedian. Although, to be absolutely realistic, that would probably depend on which scene we were shooting at the time. I could just as easily be a kneeling comedian or a Captain Morgan pose halfway up the stairs comedian, if you guys have seen that one. Not actually sure how that would work. Maybe something like, so what's the deal with airline food? Not totally sure about that. But I do like it on stage. One place I like it a lot. I don't think I like it as much in prison. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the same thing, but I've actually done a lot of thinking on this, and I have my reasons. You see, the thing is, yeah, I wouldn't do well in prison. My reason for this is, on an average daily basis, I drop the soap something like 3 or 4 times every single time I take a shower. And it seems to me like this would attract a little too much attention in a prison shower environment. Attention I don't want, attention I don't need, and attention that I'm really not anatomically designed for. Now, some of you might suggest that I could use a loofah to alleviate this little problem. And at first it seems like a sensible solution. But I think ultimately the trade-offs aren't worth it, because whatever they do in prison to guys who drop the soap cannot be half as bad to what they do in prison to guys who use a loofah. On an entirely different subject, who likes dogs? I like, yeah, alright, that's safe. I like dogs. I have to admit, I prefer the small dogs. I would like to have really tiny dogs that I could like fit in a pocket, maybe carry around 4 or 5 at once, just in case I need change for a bigger dog. I was watching a commercial the other day for motor oil. The announcer came on and he said, 9 out of 10 mechanics prefer Quaker State motor oil. They do that a lot when they try to sell you things on TV. They have like these numerical testimonials. They'll tell you 9 out of 10 mechanics prefer Quaker State. They'll tell you 4 out of 5 dentists prefer Trident. It's never anonymous, is it? There's always that one guy. It's never 10 out of 10 mechanics. At the same time, it's never 5 out of 5 dentists. It's always the one guy. It's never 8 out of 10 either. It's like there's always this one prick. Whenever they gather a group of people together, there's always one jackass sitting at the end of the table. And when the vote gets to him, he's like, fuck Trident. I'm gonna recommend candy. Candy's good for your teeth. This last joke actually caused me to come up with a sociological theorem of sorts, which I like to refer to as the gigantic asshole principle, which roughly states that in any given group of people, there's at least one gigantic asshole. There might be lots of minor assholes, but for the most part, they're harmless unless they get organized. But there's always the one alpha asshole who kind of rises above the general assholery, if you will. The size of the group doesn't really matter, large or small. If you're standing at a bus stop talking to one other person and they seem pretty cool, guess what? And you know what's been out of the news for a while is Michael Jackson. Up until yesterday, I read in the news that he was spotted in the women's bathroom of a shopping mall in Dubai. If you don't know where Dubai is, don't worry about it. It's outside the country. He was spotted putting on makeup. Now, his excuse for this was that he misread the sign on the door and walked into the wrong room because the sign on the door is in Arabic. This sounds sensible enough, but personally, I don't buy that. I think that's bullshit. I think he was trying to deceive everybody by going into the little girl's room. The one thing that I dislike most about Michael Jackson, I think, is that everybody around him seems to become stupider by comparison. I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I caught a news segment where they were discussing the custody of Michael Jackson's children. They were considering taking him away from him and giving them to the mother. Are these really the only two possible choices? Michael Jackson or the children's mother? Hey, let's give the kids to Michael Jackson. Oh, wait, are you crazy? The man's insane. He's a lunatic. I wouldn't trust him with a wooden Pinocchio doll, let alone the real-life boy version. Okay. Let's give him to a person whose decision-making capabilities are eroded and degenerate enough to actually have sex with Michael Jackson. You know what I'm trying to figure out for a while? How do non-profit companies pay their employees? I mean, they're non-profit. I figured at best, these guys are breaking even. What do they do? Sexual favors? Makes sense to me. It explains why the government doesn't really tax non-profit corporations. We want the leftovers of that. That's naughty laughter for me. I went to my dentist recently. Had my first ever cavities filled. Didn't really know what to expect. He gave me Novocaine. And it was great. I didn't feel a thing. 2 hours after the operation, I bit my lip, bled like crazy, didn't even know it. But it got me thinking. Because dentistry, even modern dentistry, has been around far, far longer than Novocaine. I mean, there was a time when these procedures were performed without the benefit of drugs. So they had to test this on somebody. What do you think in a situation like that? I mean, you're strapped to a table, a dentist is over you with all sorts of sharp instruments. You're the first person to ever have this experimental drug injected into the system. What's going through your head? Oh, holy shit. I hope this works. This could hurt. What is the doctor thinking? Oh, holy shit. I hope this works. You know, afterwards the surgeons are in the back room talking to each other going, Jesus Christ, can you believe that? The guy didn't scream once. First time that's happened. Oh, my secretary, $5. All right, guys, you've been a great audience. Thank you very much.